Hey, what's up, everybody? This is John.
And Kat.
From Hitched to Reality. This is our very first inaugural episode, so very very excited to get going here. And so we are talking about Season 6, Episode 1 of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way. Let's get started.
Okay, so we started off meeting James and Tata. She is from Indonesia, he's from Maine. They've been together for 5 years, married for 2.5 years, and we found out that she's been having some health issues, and we get the teaser of, I've got something to tell her.
Yeah, we did get that.
Did you have any thoughts of what that was going to be?
Well, I certainly didn't think that it was going to be what it was.
Yeah.
But,
what was your best guess?
Well, based on nothing, I really wasn't sure, but it's I've been married before.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Or he's been seeing other people, or he wants to see other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Wants to have kids, doesn't want to have kids.
Yeah, which also seems like it's going to come up in kind of a major way in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have thoughts about that, but...
So that was pretty much it for the first section, right? James and Tata.
He seems nice. He's an elevator mechanic.
Yeah.
Which we know from our experience makes pretty good money.
Yeah.
So that's always nice. You end up with some of these deadbeats who don't make any money.
Right. And I thought it was nice that they've been together for 2 years, so this isn't we've had some couples that they aren't together yet.
Well, they're married.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've been together. Yeah, they've been together for 5 years and they've been married for 2.5 years. So it's
they're a real couple.
Right. So some of those shade. It's like some of those couples who are on the show who
to try to get famous or further or whatever.
Right.
They seem very genuine.
Or even other people in this season who
Yes.
have barely known each other.
Right.
Like the standard, we've only known each other for
20 days.
We've only been in person for
Right.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Right. Okay. All right. So then we go on to Sarper and Shekinah. So they're video chatting. They come on strong in their very first scene together. What did you think about that?
Do they ever not come on strong?
Oh, no, that's so true.
Well, and so as we're sort of figuring this out, we're gonna give our takes.
Yes. Right. Hot takes.
I hate.
That's a super hot take.
The Sarper and Shekinah story.
Yeah.
Because they've been on, I forget exactly, well, it must have been...
We've seen them before.
Yeah, it was probably the other way, right? Where she went over there.
Probably the last time.
Yeah, so she was planning on moving there already.
And then they broke up, and then they got back together, and then the reunion. Gracious. Remember what a disaster their reunion was?
Yeah, where he opened the book, and they even showed it in the previews, where he opened the book of the check marks of all
so we say
2,500 women.
Yeah. They've been dating for 4 months. When she originally moved to Turkey, then I've slept with 2,500 women, and they show his old crusty nasty bed. What did you think about that? Would you get a new bed for her?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? Especially when she really throws down and is I'm sleeping on the couch until we have a new bed.
Well, but maybe I have not slept with 2,500 women.
Basically,
but I'm also on the other end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
But either way, it's just you have this old, nasty, crusty bed. She asked you to get rid of it. Why didn't you get rid of it? It just seems but both of them sort of seem to just be so proud of themselves, and the things that they should not be proud of are things that they are the most proud of.
Yeah, they thrive in that really toxic place.
Yes.
And so they talk about how he's been breaking up with her over her asking what he's been doing, and it sounds like they are tumultuous. And it's been 4 months that they've been separated, so not that long, but she does ask him, is this the longest you've ever been faithful? And he says yes. Do you believe that he's been faithful?
Well, we don't get a lot of context, so we don't know.
Right.
There's no actual evidence.
Gut.
I don't think so.
So do you think he's been internet cheating, a la Rob Knob, or do you think that he's physically cheating on her?
Well, again, I don't know.
Right, we're guessing. We're just spitballing here. This is all.
Well, I don't want to just assume that he's actually out there getting it in.
Yeah, so you think maybe just doing some
I think the
business?
potential is there
Yeah.
for all kinds of business.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult for a guy who's been as active as he was
active.
to suddenly not be active. Well, and especially because she was saying that they have sex like 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So if you go from that to then nothing
For 4 months.
for 4 months, I think for a person like that,
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
But it's also funny, one of the first notes that I took here is just ugh in all caps.
This is funny. I drew this like little face. So anyway. Okay. Anything else you want to say about Sarper?
Ass ... hole. That was another one of my notes. Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so then we meet Josh and Lily. Lily's from China. Josh is living with his parents, which I was immediately like, red flag, but then we find out why. It's because he sold his house.
Because he's moving to China, so he sold his house.
Right. We found out that he has a fear of sounds and he has to wear headphones while he's eating
Yeah,
breakfast.
I think so. It's called like misophonia, I think it was. So it's not like a fear of sound. It's almost like just like this overwhelming sensation of sounds gives him like anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we find out that they meet on a language learning app. They've talked for 2 years.
Story as old as time.
Yeah, they met and then 18 days later they got married in Vegas. But now when he moves to China, they want to have a traditional Chinese ceremony.
Which is, I mean, a lot of people do that.
Yeah, totally.
In the 90-day universe, especially like, but also props to them for like they feel the connection. They actually just go out and get married.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because now we have 2 couples here that are married.
Already married.
That I don't think. Well, I mean, maybe in the other way it's been that way, but I can't think of a lot of couples who
that
have
we
actually.
meet when they're already married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and actually, so I'm just doing like a quick brain inventory through my filing cabinet. The surfer couple who's in Argentina, maybe, they're already married. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then so the big thing that I had a question about for this was
The Legos.
no, I mean I have questions about that and the race cars.
We first meet him and he's playing with Legos, role playing.
Oh, yeah.
China.
Weird. But so they're talking about how they're going to do the traditional Chinese ceremony, and he drops that his parents weren't able to get a visa. But his brother was? So do you think his parents don't want to come, or they're maybe not as supportive as we think they might be, or do you just think that they weren't able to get the visa?
Well, we certainly didn't get almost anything from his parents.
Right.
It was almost like they didn't want to be on the show.
Yeah, so maybe that's why.
Well, that could be why, or he said like they didn't get the visa in time.
Right.
Which it's like
But if the brother was.
If the brother was, then it seems like a matter of effort on the parents' part, which is not good.
Right. I had some questions about that.
But also, so he did say later on that he was married 2 times before.
True.
So it could be something
They're like,
where,
we've been down this road.
But
Plus,
again,
they're already married.
True. But like, it's one of those, they didn't go to the Vegas wedding either. So if your son's getting married, albeit for the 3rd time, you would think you would still want to be there to support him.
But maybe not for the 3rd marriage the 2nd time.
In China. Yeah, it may be like a little bit more difficult, but they seem like they're retired. I don't know. From how little we got from them, it's hard to say.
But I was interested in that.
Yeah.
And the other thing we learned that I thought was so interesting is that we learned that in China, he's going over on a marriage visa and he can't work for 5 years, which
that's
is
crazy.
Such a long time.
But we did find out that she makes a lot of money.
Right, but there's a lot of teasing about how they're going to have a lot of money fights, money problems.
Yes.
Like we got like in every single coming up on.
Yeah.
It was like money fights, money problems.
Well, I think anytime that especially in this show, anytime you see that there's one person who's completely 100% supporting the other person, there's always some kind of stress, whether it's, the person who's doing the supporting, the person who makes the money, feeling, resent over the person who's not actually working, whether they can or not.
Right.
Or it's like the other person, which it seems like it's going to be in this one, the person who's being supported, like getting thrown in their face, I'm supporting you,
But it seems like that's going to be their primary or maybe exclusive source of conflict. But you know what? I think that's a better source of conflict than whether or not we're going to have threesomes or whether or not I'm supportive enough about my wife's mommy makeover surgery.
Catherine has thoughts.
I know, we're also watching, which is that, on Happily Ever After?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're watching them all, but...
We decided since this, because we've talked about this for a long time, and so we finally actually did it, and now it's starting this podcast, by the way, so that's what I'm talking about. And so we've watched everything, and I am the typical husband who...
I don't like that show.
Yeah, and then I was, peeking from around the corner, being like, oh my God, he said what?
Yeah.
So.
Right, so anyway. Okay, anything else on Josh and Lily in China that you wanted?
Well, it was just funny that he said he loves the culture and the food. Although I guess he has been to China before.
Yeah, probably.
But so it was just fun. It seemed like at that time I love the culture,
love
General
Chinese
Tso,
food.
all that. So.
Right. Then we met Corona and Inky. She's a doula. It looked like she was making some crazy doula videos. Did you have thoughts on that right off the bat? Because I sure did.
Well, they framed it as if she was doing an OnlyFans thing, but I called it that she was gonna. I said birth coach.
Oh yeah, you did.
Which was I don't know what the actual doula means,
like
but birth coach.
A birth coach.
Right. Got it. She is unconventional.
Yeah.
We'll say that. What are your thoughts?
Well, I said a few times that I felt like she was sort of doing and saying things like for some shock value. So I think I can't imagine that as a doula, the best way to approach the most clients is by sticking your butt up in the air and twerking on video.
True. But I mean,
I would think most moms or new moms or first-time moms or soon-to-be moms would not think that that's that's the birth coach for me.
Right, but she's trying to be in a niche.
Yeah, to curate a specific client.
And we met some of her clients, and I would say that they are certainly unique. Yeah, non-traditional is the perfect word. And I mean, whatever works for you. And I mean, there's.
I just wonder if it does work for her. How many clients does she have?
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I think the twerking aspect is one thing, but she also did a whole bunch of other stuff that was not. I mean, people, listen.
Yeah. I twerk.
I am a straight cisgendered white man, so what the hell do I know about anything, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. Zero. But so, I mean, people give births in, tub births and all kinds of stuff.
I feel like a tub birth is at least more, I don't know.
But I'm just saying there's plenty of people out there who's you give birth in water, you weirdo.
Yeah. So then we talk about how she's moving to Iceland. They met partying in Iceland. He let her sleep in his bed.
Take a nap, yeah.
Yeah, so she thought he was super nice. She's thinking that she's gonna practice midwifery there, but she would need to get her license or something. She was saying that she needs to go to school.
Yeah, there's some sort of degree because she was gonna go get her. Where are they? Forget where they are, but she already had a spot in school in grad school for midwifery. Which why is it not midwifery? Why is it midwifery? That makes it spelled the same way.
But I think she said there's only one school on that whole island.
Well, I think Iceland is really small.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's no ring, there's no engagement here. This is basically just a relationship, and she is moving to Iceland.
She's moving to Iceland.
So, okay.
Oh, I have here for a man. So she's moving to Iceland just for some guy. I just found it interesting. She seems like such a unique and self-starter.
Right,
her mom kicked her out when she was 16 and she's been on her own
so very
since
independent.
then. Super independent, and now she's known this guy for so little. And she's moving to Iceland for a man? I mean, listen, do whatever you want.
Right.
It supports you.
But it surprised you.
It did surprise me
knowing what you know about her for 45 seconds.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so then we go back to Sarper. And we get into a lot of he counts things. He claims that he counts his rice before he eats it.
When he's stressed.
Okay, and then he looks out the window and he's 7 people, 17 cars.
Call bullshit on that?
I don't buy what he's trying to sell. I have trust issues with him. He doesn't seem very genuine to me. which is like an understatement maybe. I don't believe him on that. And then he brings up the body count notebook again. It's something that he brings up a lot.
Yeah, and like we find out later with Shekinah, it's just like they both seem to revel in
like controversy.
And being proud of things that you don't need to be proud of. Like, why do we need to continue to hear that you're just a man whore?
Yeah.
Like, we don't, like, we know 2,500 women, like, great. But, like...
Yeah, and then he immediately launches into talking about how he slept with 7 of his sister's friends.
Oh, yeah. That was,
the way that they're setting up their relationship for the show, to me, doesn't seem genuine, and
Well, I think, to put it straight, I think both of us feel that neither one of them are really genuine.
Like real people. Obviously, they both had a lot of work done, which is fine. Do whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
But it's like they're going out of their way to seem as like...
Characters. Like they're characters on a TV show.
Yes.
And I would bet that if you probably talked to Shekinah off the show
if you could
off
get
cameras,
through the like facade and get
there was
into
probably
that.
something else there.
Because she's a mom, she has a daughter, and I'm sure her relationship with her daughter, when off camera and uninvolved in like this whole Sarper saga, I'm sure she's like very genuine, super great mom. Her daughter seemed very well adjusted when we met her last season.
Well, and also, so like when he last season was talking about like that he wanted to have a kid, she was just like, no.
Right.
And she held her ground on that no.
And had said that she's been consistent in saying no.
But I was like, a lot of people on the show would maybe cave in or say like, oh, maybe we'll have kids or something. She was just not like, I thought that was
the realist view of
because it's like, you know, so many times people cave in or compromise on stuff like that, and she just wouldn't. And like, it was nice to see that she like had a stance and she stuck to it.
Yeah, right. And then the last thing that we heard him say is that her bitchiness is getting too high.
Yeah, he's always had a way with words, that guy. But I mean, you know, you can maybe equate some of that to the language barrier, although he speaks English fluently. Yeah. But he seems like he knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
And like, you never refer to your wife or girlfriend as a bitch or her bitchiness.
Right. We always say like, unless you're 100% kidding, you don't say things like that. And
but I wouldn't even.
He is 100% serious.
Here's advice to all husbands and boyfriends out there.
Don't
call your wife a bitch. It's pretty simple. Oh, one other thing that I forget when exactly he said it, but when referring to Shekinah, he referred to her as the only woman I'm sleeping with right now. Not like his girlfriend, not his partner, not his whatever, just the only woman I'm sleeping with right now.
Is that like another thing that he's saying just to like rattle some cages?
Yeah, or maybe he really just thinks of her as the only woman he's sleeping with right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll give it a big old 10 out of 10 yucks. Yeah. All right, so then we head back to James and Tata. We find out that she is going to leave a month early. He is planning on working for her dad's company. Her dad makes banana chips, which sounded
interesting.
Yeah, it sounded pretty cool. I at least appreciate that they have a plan.
Well, they called it like, what was it, Banana City or something like that? Because of all the different varieties of banana. Yeah. I thought it was going to be Banana City for a different reason.
I listened to a whole podcast about how few varieties of bananas are like commercially available. So I'm actually like weirdly excited to go there and like see different varieties of bananas, because all the bananas in the grocery store, it's all one single type of banana. And it used to be a different type of banana, but then some like banana plague swept through the country and wiped out all bananas. So now we only have one type of banana. So I'm really excited to see multiple types of bananas.
So that's what was going through Catherine's head when that was happening. When she was saying Banana City, the only thing that I could think of was that would be a great name for a male strip club.
Yeah, we experienced that in different ways.
That's fine.
So then we find out that they only have enough money to survive there for a few months. So he's going to stay behind, work as much as he can until they can save up a little more money, and then he's going to join her. And we also get the bombshell question mark that they haven't told anybody that they're moving.
That's never a good sign. Like, and we've just seen over and over again in these shows. It's just like,
I have a secret.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I've
he
been
does
keeping
too.
this from my family.
Right, but like, it's just like that never goes well.
Never.
Honesty is the best policy, truly.
Yeah, and it seemed like he lives at home with his parents, right? They live with his parents. I can't imagine that he put that Mario wall decor up as an adult.
Well.
And he works at his family's company. So I'm just saying they seem very close.
Yeah, the family. Yeah.
So I don't think this like surprise move to Indonesia is gonna.
It's never gonna be taken well.
It's not gonna hit well with them. She says that she's afraid that he's not gonna come. What do you think about that? Is there any chance that he's gonna be like, oh, I actually can't go at all?
Well, I think especially not having the income is going to be a problem. We do see that he ends up going there, so I mean.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, he was getting the massage.
Oh yeah. Ooh, ouch.
But like, you know, it is always like one of those fears, and maybe it takes like a little bit longer. But I mean, I'm sure it's scary. Again, elevator mechanic, you make good money.
Yeah. So why don't they have more money saved up?
I don't know. I mean, you know, he's a miner. We found out he likes to go mining in the woods.
Yeah, he's just into rocks and stuff.
Feldspar. But I guess that could be a fear. I wasn't really that never crossed my mind. I think the more thing that's going to be an issue is money.
Okay.
And I mean, I think from what I've heard, the U.S. dollar stretches a lot further.
Right. Sure.
In like Indonesia
Yeah.
or Thailand or you know.
Lots of other places.
Lots of other places.
Yeah.
But even still, like, I mean, if you're paying for rent, if you're food.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to move in with her parents when they go.
Yeah, probably.
Because if they're going to work at the banana factory.
The Banana Factory. Another good name for a male strip club.
Okay. Good?
Good.
Okay. So then we move on to Lily from China and Josh. We find out that she's the owner of a beauty company. She is putting together this like whole big room for Josh.
In her like giant villa.
Yeah, a villa, right. So apparently she has an apartment and a villa.
Josh said that he was okay living in just the apartment, and it did seem like that Lily wanted this villa to be like she said it was like her dream.
Her dream, yeah.
And it does, I mean, it's fancy. It's got an elevator.
Yeah.
So she's making a lot of money lasering hair off of ladies' faces.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot.
Yeah, she's taking their relationship in a direction, and then it seems like later she's going to be mad at him for the direction their relationship is going.
Well, like we were saying, it's like one of those things when you're the one being supported, you may feel, or if you're the one doing the supporting, like in the preview, it's like I spent $500 on dinner, and it's like
I didn't ask for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it's like, you know, it's a difficult situation, especially like, and you hear it like all the time, like with the regular 90-day fiance, where you know they come and it's oftentimes the woman brings like a man from another country over, and they can't work.
Right.
Like even with Pedro and Chantel.
Right.
Like you can't work for the longest time.
Right.
And so it seems like it's even longer over there. I mean, 5 years
Such
is a
a long
long time
time
to not work. So.
Yeah, but if I was going to make like a prediction right now, knowing what I know now, which is like next to nothing, I would say I don't think they're going to.
I think it's going to be tough.
Long haul it.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
Yeah, but you know what I will say? So we've already talked about how he's like sold his house. He gave away all his things. It does seem like he's really moving to China versus I was thinking in my head about that lady who was going to move to Morocco, the lady with the big blonde hair. Debbie. She didn't sell her house.
Yep.
She didn't get rid of any of her stuff. So before she even went, I feel like she knew.
Or she was at least having like a plan B. Like,
Yeah,
just in
like
case
I give this
doesn't work
about
out.
a 50-50, so I'm going to hang on to all my stuff. I'm going to keep my house. I don't even think she like rented out her house.
It's like she knew.
Yeah, it's like she knew, and
Marrying a 24-year-old from Morocco was a bad idea.
Oh, that might not work out, really? So it does at least seem like
He's all in.
he's committing to it.
Yeah.
So even though I said like I don't think they're going to make it for the long haul, at least it does seem like they're trying.
Yes, they seem real.
Okay. So then we flip back to James and Tata again.
There's a lot of them in this episode.
Yeah, and I guess it's because they're going to be separated for a month, so the crew was just like, let's just get as much out of them as we can while they're together.
Real quick, I'm not sure if you guys can hear the peeping in the background. We do have chicks in the other room.
Yeah.
But just in case you can hear them, that's what that is.
Birds chirping.
Birds chirping.
Okay. So the best friend comes over, they're making jewelry together. She's like, by the way, I'm moving tomorrow. And the best friend seems like, you what? So there's been like no conversation about that.
Again, like the hiding things from people.
Right. She talks about how she's having trouble swallowing, a lot of throat pain, which I was for sure feeling sorry for her about. And she said she felt like she's just getting bounced around from doctor to doctor, so she just wants to go back to her country where she feels like she can get better medical care. Maybe they'll take her a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to write down on paper which medical system is better, USA or Indonesia, I don't know anything about Indonesia's medical system, but I'm sure it will feel better for her to talk to doctors who are like speak her original home language. And I mean, who knows what it could be a dietary thing. I don't know, is the food in Indonesia like way different?
Well,
like,
I'm sure the weather is pretty different.
Yeah.
They live in Maine, and I think Indonesia's pretty tropical.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it is if bananas grow there, so
but yeah, I'm sure even just like the comfort level for her is probably a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think, for anybody who's speaking a different language, even though she seems like
super fluent
in English, like I'm sure it makes a big difference to talk to somebody who looks just like you. Not like some old white guy, probably.
And I can totally imagine, because I recently had a health thing, and it was actually to do with my throat, and like the doctors took me very, very seriously. But I can imagine as like an immigrant coming to this country, you feel like you're a minority in the country, and you're complaining, and they're just like, if her perception is they're not taking her seriously, and she's like really having a lot of pain, I would move back too.
Right, yeah.
I feel like I need this to stop.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like they're young. Nothing is 100% permanent. I mean, like if they go there and
it's not
they
like
want to
can
move
never come
back, right?
Because it's been 2 years. So do you think she has her green card?
I don't know. They don't talk about anything like that because she like makes jewelry, and she said she uses that to make money, and that's what she's doing with Adele, her friend. But like, if she's been married and living in the U.S. for that long. Although I guess maybe if they were married for 2.5 years, I don't remember if she's lived there for that long.
Yeah.
But you would think so. If they were married in the U.S., she should be able to work. You would think, unless they didn't apply. Who knows? But
and they also, the other thing that they don't talk about that I was asking about and curious over is like they don't talk about what kind of visa he's going to Indonesia on.
Right. Well, because it seemed like he was going to be able to work, and I don't know if.
Because like I said, a tourist visa, you can't work, but maybe Indonesia doesn't care as much.
Or, I mean, you said the banana factory that her dad works at. I guess in my head, he makes banana chips like
out of his house or something.
Yeah. Because, like, what was that guy with the glasses who moved to Thailand with the girl who was upset that he was sitting on the plane next to a lady?
Oh, God, I remember that, but I don't remember who that was.
Right, but...
Oh, and then they, like, had that little store right in front of their house where they, like, go to one store, buy the stuff, and, like, walk it down the road and then try to resell it.
Right, and so, like, they built, like, a little store on their property, and, like, if we have to make build a building here, we have to go to the town and, like, all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, I don't think that's how it goes over
But I
there.
do still, I like finding out from all the couples, like when they come over on a tourist visa, a marriage visa, a fiancé visa.
90-day UK, it seems similar enough to the US, where it's like a 90-day process and you have to get married and yada yada.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot to see.
Right. I'm interested to find out what's really going on there. But then the best friend also starts some like major controversy, saying that like, oh yeah, the last time we were hanging out, he told me he didn't really want to have kids. And then she was like, he said he didn't want to. And she said, well, maybe he said he was scared to, and like kind of tries to backwalk it a little bit.
So what are your thoughts on that? You think it's a big deal?
Well, she started crying immediately.
I think it's a miscommunication. Because I think even if you want to have kids, because she said, Adele, who is Tata's friend, said to her that when she went to the bathroom, Adele spoke to James and said, he said that he was nervous about having kids. And I think you can still be nervous about having kids and still want to have kids. It's just, it's a huge deal. You can be nervous about it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't say, I don't really want to have kids.
But the best friend did say that first. That was the first thing she said.
He was scared.
No, the first thing she said was, he said he didn't want to have kids. And
I don't think he said that.
I'll check the playback.
You can check the playback. I'm pretty sure the first one was scared and then the next one was nervous.
Okay.
I don't think the want to was ever there. I could be wrong, and that would change my opinion, but I thought it was always scared.
Okay, so we'll go back and check, and I'll jump in as editing cat and clarify who was correct. But my perception or recollection of that conversation was she said, oh yeah, he told me he didn't want to have kids, and then Tata flipped, and then the friend took it down a notch and said, well, maybe he said he was scared. And then Tata was like, oh, well, if he said it was scared, maybe it means he doesn't want to. And she re-escalated it in her mind. But.
Well, also based on her reaction to the other thing.
Yeah.
I think she may have a propensity to overreact.
Yeah, she's just maybe in an emotional state right now because she's moving to another country without her husband.
100%,
yeah. Okay. So then we go back to Shekinah and Sarper.
Gross.
Yeah, Shekinah goes to the dog groomer with her best friend and her best friend's husband, ? Or was that just some other guy?
No, I think that...
Are they a couple?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the beard?
Yeah, so it looked like he had his 5 o'clock shadow tattooed on.
Or maybe makeup done.
Could be makeup done.
Yeah.
But I had recently seen a reel on
I've
Instagram
seen that too. It
of the
looks
steak.
awful.
Yeah. Well, it looks... Listen, like we said before...
You do you.
You do you. Do whatever you want. But, I just...
But if you do you and you put yourself out there, you're going to have idiots commentating on the internet about...
Idiots like us commentating about it on the internet. Thank you for saying that. That was perfect. But, there was an awful lot of lip filler and cheek implants in that room.
And there were boobs.
Were there boobs?
Oh, the friends' boobs were... They
were hanging out. But, I was more focused on...
Good for you. I was focused on the boobs because they were just calling to me.
Focused on the boobs.
Yeah. Okay, so while at the dog groomer, she says that he doesn't like her to go out to events or parties and that he breaks up with her all the time. She seems to just be kind of dumping her issues on her friends, and they all say, this is very unlike her. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Sarper, also talked about how she was that way towards him.
Right.
And so it's just I'm sure they're both doing it to each other.
Right.
But there's nothing surprising about that to me, because that's just how they both are.
So then the male friend says, what's your day-to-day life going to be once you move there? And she's like, well, he cooks for me. We have sex 4 times a day. Of course, we work out together. By the way, I'm getting a new nose.
And he's designing it for me.
Yeah, and he's going to tell the doctor what to do. And again, maybe I'm sounding repetitive here, but it seems like she's saying this stuff just to elicit an extreme reaction from her friends.
Well, and also, in the previous season, he was weighing her every day. It was your optimal weight is this.
Yeah.
And she loved to say that. And
she loved to tell people that.
And it's from an outside perspective, it's so obviously toxic and a controlling relationship.
Yes.
I think probably from both ends.
Yes.
And at the tell-all from the last season that they were on, everybody there was saying this is a controlling relationship. She's like, well, I like it, so it's. And listen, I can understand where there's some aspects of a relationship where you want the other person to take the lead, but this is such an extreme thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, listen, if you don't care about your nose and you want...
But she so obviously cares about
Well,
her
they're not
nose.
even married.
No. They've only been together... Oh, no, they've been apart for 4 months. Been together for a year, right?
But it's just, you know, I mean, listen, again, do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Yeah. Okay.
And he's just... I mean, I don't know. They're both gross.
Gross. Okay. So then we go back to Corona, who's getting ready to move to Iceland for Inky. We meet her whole family, her sister, her mom. Her mom has a tablet that like live reads.
Because her mom is very hard of hearing.
Yeah, I thought that was like such a cool piece of technology that I didn't know existed.
It was. I also noticed that she used very exaggerated mouth movements because I'm sure like when she, and this is just something I noticed when, I'm sure when her family talks to her, she gets help.
Reading.
Well, because it helps to lip read.
Right.
I love the grandma.
That whole family.
That whole family.
Yeah, they seemed so. Corona talked about how they sort of butt heads, and maybe it's because they're too similar. And I think that's that. I don't think I can tell. That is a family of strong women.
Yes.
Right. They're
very much
only
so.
women visible in that family.
And they speak their mind for sure.
Yes. So, but. At the end of the day, though, I mean, I think it was Granny who was saying, like, I'm sorry, you've been with this man for 20 days. I don't see a ring on your finger. What are you doing? And her sister was concerned that she's giving up that spot in the midwifery school.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, it is true. I mean, so, you know, I mean, the name of the show is 90 Day Fiancé based off the K1 visa. So spouse, you know, engagement is a part of it. She's moving over there
as just a girlfriend.
Yep. And as we see in some of the previews, it seems like grandma's right.
Yeah. And she also gets into the soft partnering where she's approaching him, she says, like a bunny. So she's saying that she can be like, you know, she uses the phrase, that's the only reason I'm going to use it, the angry black woman.
Well, she said that he's never dealt with an angry black woman before.
Yeah, so what did you think about her, like, kind of dampening that part of her?
I have two thoughts.
Yeah.
One, my initial thought was like, oh, well, that's...
Maybe good.
That's maybe good.
Okay.
But also, like... I don't know. She did say that she was working on her anger issues.
Yeah. So maybe that's a part of her that she does want to, like, for herself, permanently leave behind.
But it's like, I sort of feel like in order to work on those issues, you need to make sure that your partner knows that those issues are there. So, like, if you're just, whether it's good or bad, if you're hiding a part of yourself from your partner, it's never a good thing.
So maybe if he says something that would, like, typically really anger her, she could say, usually I might blow up about this, but because I'm practicing soft partnering.
But it's almost like she's just trying to smother it down as opposed to like fixing some of the underlying issues. And I mean, look, so she seems like she has had a difficult life, you know, like being kicked out of 16, living on her own, doing everything herself, and she is doing her own thing and she seems to be doing it successfully. And so I just like, because I feel like if you're just hiding that part of yourself, at one point you are going to blow up at him.
Well, we kind of see it. Well, she storms off.
Right. But at one point she's going to blow up on him and he's going to be like, what the hell is
Not what I
this?
signed up for.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't think anybody deserves to be, who knows what it actually looks like.
Right.
But nobody deserves to be like screamed, well, nobody.
Sarper. No.
Some people don't deserve to be like screamed and yelled at. I mean, not that she's done that yet, but it's just like one of those things where I like that she is trying to work on it, but it seems like she's not really working on it. She's kind of just hiding it.
Right.
And that it's going to come out at some point. So.
Yeah, very interesting. Anything else from the girl power family that you wanted to...
I don't think so.
Okay.
I thought I wasn't going to like them.
Yeah, I sort of felt the same way.
Because they're like, you know, I think opinionated people are sort of divisive. Like, you either love them or hate them.
Right.
Love them.
Yeah, right, yeah. And it seemed like they were concerned for her best interest. And like sometimes, like when the family's involved and they're like, oh, you're just here for the money or whatever. And that's often when like the fiance is coming here.
Right.
But I didn't sense any of that. Oh, though we did find out in that interaction that he's 38, never been in a relationship. And was it Granny who was like, that's a red flag?
Well, yeah. She said, like, so you going over there for a virgin?
No, yeah. And she was like, no, he's not a virgin. It's like, oh, so just some hookups?
Yeah.
So, like, oh, gosh, that was a lot.
Which, I mean, I think you could look at it that way for sure.
Right.
You know, so and I think that's also, like, just points to she's thinking of it as, like, potential for marriage.
Right.
But if he's never
been in a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Right.
But it did, you know, so her mom had said, you know, you can't talk her
out of anything. Yeah.
So it seems like, you know, so she knows that.
Right.
So, you know, it seems like they're going to voice their opinions, but not.
They know that she's going to go anyway. Yeah. So, well, we haven't even met him yet, so maybe he's lovely.
Maybe.
Okay.
He's got a big forehead.
Yeah.
Speaking as someone who has one.
So then we go back for the last time to James and Tata. She's leaving for the airport. She's got to go in a couple hours.
And we finally find out this huge secret that he's been keeping from her.
Yeah, right. They've been doing a lot of teasing throughout the episode. And it's that he didn't get the paperwork together to bring the dog Jojo with them, and she has a very strong reaction to that.
Well, but it would also seem like, so he said at the end that he was doing research and he found out that they shouldn't bring the dog.
Right, he said
not necessarily that he didn't do the work, but it was, well, my take on it was that it seemed like even if he did the work and they had all the right paperwork, if that dog looked sick at all, they were just going to euthanize it. Which I don't know why he didn't tell her ahead of time.
Right.
I mean, because it
well, he said it's because he was afraid that if he told her she wouldn't go, and he was thinking of her health first.
True. But I guess my whole thing on that is that you don't need to tell her an hour before she's leaving.
Right.
You can tell her that once she's already over there.
Right.
Because he's got a month to a month and a half before he makes the trip over there.
Right.
So why not just let her settle in a little bit and then say, hey, they could euthanize our dog if I bring him over.
And he said that there's like a rabies outbreak over there.
And he's like, you know, it's not a permanent thing, he's coming with us. I just think in that super emotionally heightened moment, like right before she's about to leave.
Yeah. And so he gives her the letter that says don't open until you're on the plane. Do you think that letter is a good letter? Like, I love you so much, I'm really thinking about you, I hope that your health does really well, I can't wait to rejoin you? Or do you think it's got like some other stuff in it?
I hope it's good.
You hope it's good.
Well, because I think if it wasn't, they probably would have played that up.
Oh, so you think it was downplayed because it's just a nice letter?
I do.
Okay, all right, we'll see.
That's what we hope anyway.
Yeah, okay. So that was the whole first episode.
That was the whole first episode.
So this is sort of the plan for the podcast/YouTube video. We're going to watch these episodes. We took some notes while we were watching it. Usually we discuss the episodes like while they're happening.
It was so hard to not do that.
I mean, I did it a little tiny bit,
right.
But we tried to keep it to a minimum so that we could have these conversations, you know, with you guys too. Yeah, so this is what we're in for. There's no limit to the amount of reality TV that's out there right now. So right now we're doing 90 Day Fiancé the other way. There are 2 other worlds of 90 Day Fiancé that are happening currently.
I think there's 3.
90 Day Fiancé UK, 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, and Love in Paradise. Yeah. Plus the other way. Yeah, so there's, and we also watch like When Love is Blind comes out, we watch that. So
the potential is there for a lot.
Yeah, this is this is a lot. So thank you so much for watching or listening to this. You can download this podcast where?
Hopefully wherever you get your podcasts. I've never distributed a podcast before, so please bear with us.
Yeah, or you can just watch it on YouTube, play it in the background, do your dishes, watch it, and then listen to us blab about it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Hitched to Reality, and we'll see you next time.